here's your first look at the new Rebirth Island update, which is nothing short of absolutely incredible. This was a fantastic update for Rebirth Island, and we have so much to cover, so let's not waste any more time. We got to talk about POIs, new game modes, the Rebirth Reinforced Event, quality of life changes to gas masks and parachutes and fire sales. There is so much to cover here. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's go ahead and jump into our 4 brand new POIs here. We have Stronghold, Docks at Nova 6, Shore, and Prison. But before we do, take a quick look at the new skin and feel of Rebirth. In my opinion, with the color scheme and the lighting, it has a very rustic Verdansk 1984 feel, which I think was a great change for Rebirth Island. Now, in terms of our new POIs, I was actually going to finish with what is called Stronghold. It's the old security, because I thought it was going to be boring. I thought it was going to be nothing, but they totally changed the dynamic of how people are going to play at security. They added 2 new buildings, the administrative building and the radar tower, and these give you places to finesse and really kind of start to outplay your opponent. On top of that, and by the way, there's an increased loot here, so it's very easy to get a loadout if you can win security. I think we're going to be talking about that a lot more, winning security and then rotating. If you do, we now have redeploy balloons in Rebirth. They took these from Caldera, they put them into Rebirth. All you have to do is repair it for 500, then you can take it, and from Stronghold, you can get to living quarters, especially the top and roof of big living quarters building, very easily. So I think we are going to see a lot of people, I think we're going to see security start to be more viable in terms of a drop spot. You land there, you get a quick loadout, and then you start to rotate to living quarters. Now, the other change with Stronghold, and why they really added these 2 buildings, was end circles. End circles in security were brutal because the team that was camping down there from the moment they landed there and just got loadout was still there waiting for people, and they ended up just holding everybody out of circle. This gives you an opportunity to start outplaying opponents, being smarter in buildings, and really using this as to your advantage. Now, the second one we're going to take a look at is going to be Shore, which is basically right by control. Now, as you know, this used to be a death trap down here, but they actually added a boat and they added a stairwell on the tents side. And these 2 things actually make it a pretty viable place to be right now. You know, you could land there and then rotate into control once you have enough money or once you have decent guns. It's a pretty good landing spot. And I think the biggest change here is the stairwell over by tents. That's going to make it much easier to get out of those situations. Plus, before, if you were down at shore, basically somebody just shot down on you. At least now you can finesse in the boat and use that to your advantage. You can also climb all the way up to the mast if you want to, but it's very high risk, high reward. So now let's head over to Prison, which is another great change. And I think the biggest change here is going to be the construction on the side of Prison. But I want to quickly talk about the fact that there are now tents in the middle, which allow you to have cover and not have to rotate totally out in the open of the courtyard. And the second is this little walkway around the edge, which allows you to get kind of around the edge safely, or at least a little bit safer than before. Plus, it gives you some cover to challenge people down at shore if you want to. But let's go back to this construction at Prison. This is absolutely fantastic. You can now easily challenge every single level from basically any level you want. You can go from the bottom floor to the top of Prison very easily. You can go from the buy station into the cafeteria if you want to. You can work your way up to the 3rd level and challenge people that are just sitting in that little kind of in the little room by the stairwell to get to the top Prison. So this really gives us a lot of different ways to finesse and really be strategic about how we're challenging enemies top Prison. There's now 6 ways to get to top Prison. There's the main stairwell by tower, there's the ladder, there's the zip on the backside, there's the stairwell by water tower, and now there's all these different ways, or basically the side. There's tons of different ways to get to top Prison that we can now challenge people who think they can just sit up there the whole time. We also have gondola if you want to. The last POI we're going to take a look at is going to be the ship at Nova 6, Docks at Nova 6. This is another great one that I initially thought when I saw it wasn't really going to change much. But there are some great spots here to challenge people that are on that 2nd and 3rd level of Nova 6. There's a ton of loot here as well, so you could potentially land here, you know, grab some loot. You could have a teammate land in the building right by Nova 6, and you grab a loadout before the Nova 6 team does. So this is going to be a unique one. I don't know if this will be totally used, but there are going to be situations come out that where you can really use this to your advantage, really finesse enemies, that especially because of the inside of the boat. You can take ladders, you can take stairs, and really keep finessing enemies. So those are your 4 main POIs. We've got Prison, we've got Shore, we've got Stronghold, and we've got Docks at Nova 6. They are absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and talk about some brand new game modes, including including we finally have Rebirth Resurgence solos. But before I tell you exactly what that is, take a few seconds, hit that subscribe button down below. I do videos every day helping people get better Rebirth, and I also do a lot of Rebirth news. So Rebirth Resurgence solos, what you're watching right now is actually gameplay from solos. I hopped in, actually picked up a pretty decent game, and basically how Rebirth Resurgence solos works, it's very simple. When you fly in, it's normal. You have a self-revive. If you die, then you immediately respawn. You immediately go back in the air with a parachute and you are redeploying. The moment your feet touch the ground is when your respawn timer actually begins. And it's the same as Rebirth. Getting a contract completed lowers that. Getting a kill lowers that. All of these different things that would happen in normal Rebirth to lower your teammates' respawn timer is the same as solos. This was a lot of fun to play. It's definitely something I'm going to be playing more of. It's really, really great if you don't have teammates to just go ahead and drop into solos. I don't know if I mentioned this. It is 46 people dropping in, which I think is a great number. It's very fast-paced, especially with people constantly flying back in. The respawn timers aren't too long, which makes it great. We also have Rebirth Payload, which is a fast-paced 12v12 game mode. It's a limited time mode, basically the same as Payload on Verdansk, as we remember it, and I don't know if they have it on Caldera. But we also have Rebirth Blood Money for my Plunder fans. You finally have Plunder on Rebirth, which is going to be the same thing as Plunder on Caldera and Verdansk, basically just collecting cash and whatnot. So we do have Rebirth Plunder, which actually, now that I think about it, is probably great for leveling up your weapons. Maybe I'd do a video on that as well. Let me know down in the comments what you think. So those are kind of the three new game modes. We have Rebirth Payload, we have Rebirth Blood Money, and we have Rebirth Resurgence solos. Now, in terms of our actual game modes for the weeks, let's go ahead and break it down here before we jump into our next section. So in terms of our breakdown here, we've got the week of March 23rd is going to be solos, duos, trios, quads. So again, sticking with that playlist. The week of March 31st, we have solos, duos, trios, quads, and Payload 12v12. Then the week of April 7th, solos, duos, trios, quads. You can see that they're really pushing for that solos as it's the new game mode. Then we have Payload and Blood Money quads. Then week of April 14th, this is where things start to get interesting. We go back to only having duos, trios, and quads, but now we have Blood Money quads, and we have Iron Trials trios. So you can really see how they're starting to build out Rebirth into this full-fledged game mode. Previously, these were all big map game modes. We had Caldera Iron Trial or Verdansk Iron Trials, Verdansk playlist, all these different things. Now we're starting to see this more and more on Rebirth. And then the week of April 21st, we have solos, duos, trio, quads, and Iron Trials quads. So we got a lot of great weeks coming of Rebirth gameplay. Let's go ahead and jump into the next section here. So now let's talk about the new Rebirth Reinforced Event, which you are going to see as soon as you log into Warzone. And I'm going to break down exactly what it is and what it means for you. Now, in terms of the Rebirth Reinforced Event, what we're really looking at is big community challenges. So everybody playing Rebirth is going to have to work towards this one main goal. The first of which is going to be 20 billion kills on Rebirth Island. And when we get to 20 billion kills as a community, as a full Rebirth community, we unlock the Weapon Trade Station, which is essentially what the Weapon Trade Station is. I want to quickly break this down. It allows you to trade your currently equipped weapon for different things: satchels, kill streaks, cash, and much more. Now, looking at this list right here, and I'm going to zoom out for you just so you can kind of fully see it, I don't really foresee many people doing this. I mean, there's no point of you trading a custom gun for a rare gun with 2 extra magazines or a legendary kill streak or a field upgrade. I think the only time you may do this or may even consider doing this is potentially late game. You know, I don't really see a scenario. The other scenario you may use it is if you're like, if you have a legendary gun and you're like $500 short, you know, you turn that weapon in for $800, you'll be good to go. But there's not really any situations that I'm looking at here where I'm going to be eager to be trading in my guns for the low return on investment that I'd be getting out of these. I mean, you're looking at legendary guns giving you a legendary kill streak, like not super important for me. Or 1 lethal equipment. You could get C4, you could get a gas grenade, like you have no idea what you're going to be getting. So not really a huge factor in terms of the weapon trading station, but we'll see what comes from that. Now, once we get that weapon trading station, the next challenge kicks in, which is 190 million weapons to the weapon trade station to unlock the communication towers. Now, the communication towers are super cool. Players may spend $1,500 to activate red communication towers across the map to enable a stationary UAV at its location. So what that means is you are going to go up there, from how I understand it and from how it's been described in these patch notes, as well as the other patch notes that they provided. You go up to this communication tower, you put your $1,500 in, and you get a UAV. You get one UAV ping from that location. It's not something you can run around with like you would if you buy a UAV. You get one ping from this tower. So that's kind of the communication tower. So that's what you would unlock next. And it's $1,500. So maybe you have $1,500. You don't have enough to buy a UAV, but you're trying to figure out where people are, right? So you see this one right here over at tents. Maybe you get that. You see that there's people, nobody's in living quarters, nobody's in headquarters, nobody's in control, but there's a team Nova 6. So now you can go and start to rotate towards Nova 6. So the next challenge that we're going to be looking at is 130 million payloads and 40 trillion in blood money plunder. So I don't know if those two will really be achieved. This is the Golden Vault mystery. We don't know what that is. I think the two main ones that we're going to be looking at here are the weapon trade station and the communications tower. So let's talk about some quality of life changes now, if I can find them. Yeah, so gameplay stuff. First things first, and these are super, super cool. Deployable buy stations. Added as a legendary ground loot. So these are things you pick up like a PDS or something like that. It's a field upgrade. Once the marker is deployed, we'll call in a buy station to that location. So maybe you land, living quarters and there is no buy station anywhere. So you just so happen to come across this deployable buy station. You throw a backside living quarters. Now you can get your loadout. So I actually see this being used a decent amount, or maybe this is a situation where you have $6,000 and you're not near a buy station, but you need a UAV. Throw down that deployable buy station. You're able to buy a UAV right there. Now just notice again, as I mentioned, this is a field upgrade. Has the same inventory as a buy station. Now, other major stuff. Gas mask. Players will now be able to drop their gas mask. You can actually drop your gas mask. I don't know why you would give it to a squad member or out of choice. This is the bigger one. A lot of you don't know this, but gas masks actually slow you down a touch. So people always ask, Joe, why don't you pick up the gas mask right there? It actually slows you down a little bit. So we'll be able to drop those early game when we don't really need them. The other thing is when you go to drop, you can see the exact percentage of how much is left. So you can really use that to your advantage. Armor satchels. Players can collect the armor plates within ground loot armor satchels. So before, you'd have an armor satchel and, you'd come across one, there wouldn't be any plates. Well, now you can actually pick up those plates. And they show how many are contained in the loot card. I don't really know why that's a big deal. Contract smoke grenades, no parachutes. This is the next big one. Players can now cut their parachutes at any point before their feet touch the ground. If you're like me, you've had an issue recently where you get about 5 meters from the ground and you can't cut that parachute. That is now changed. On the other hand, people have been having issues where no matter where you jump from, it pulls your parachute. So it's actually been slightly increased the height required for being able to deploy a parachute. So that really fixes that problem. Also, buy station fire sale discount has been decreased from 80% to 50% for UAVs. So UAVs used to cost $3,000, and now I'm very, very good at math, so I'm going to look it up. They cost $4,800. So just keep that in mind that they're no longer $3,000 UAVs. We're now looking at $4,800 from $6,000. So that should kind of slow down that pace of play just a little bit. Don't forget, we have the communication towers, though. If we unlock those, where it's $1,500. So that's kind of everything that you need to know. Drop in. I'm telling you, Solos is a blast. You're going to love the new POIs. I hope you found today's video helpful. Subscribe down below. Let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.